First of all, I want to thank everybody who stuck with us for the entire time. We've been watching the live stream in the back in the comments. We had folks from Canada, from Ireland, from the UK, a lot of comments on a lot of stuff that we'll be trying to pull together and digest, and maybe putting up some frequently asked question responses, and maybe get some of our presenters even to weigh in on some of the things that were asked and put that up. And like I said, the slides will be posted, as will the recording, but really, really amazing job on that. Very, very excited. A couple of key themes that I wanted to highlight that I know were talked about today that I think are so important. Certainly the need for evolution with intent, that we're doing this with a collaborative intent, a collective intent, and that we're really looking at the evaluation and integration of evidence-based best practice. So we're bringing together the academics, the people in the field and the practical experience, the people we like to call the pracademics, who blend the two together and work so well in that area. The clarification of standards and expectations, and we also heard a lot today around the clarification of language so that we can talk from the different organizational perspectives and be talking about the same thing even though we're doing our own things, because I think that helps strengthen the conversation and it helps to make it clearer for the consumer, the athletes and the parents and the people that are looking to us to see what we're doing and why it's being done, and when they go from one sport to the other, they can see where things are being done in accordance to standards and maybe where they're not. The open conversation and collaboration within the leadership levels, I think, is absolutely amazing, and the willingness of folks to come to the room and talk and be a part of this is really exciting. And then probably the recognition and support of the professionalization of sport coaching, both from a perspective of the person, the individual who is the coach, but also the recognition of the professional body and how important the work they do is, and how important it is that we, with our different jobs, as Melissa pointed out, are supporting them in the different places and areas that we can do that. I also think it raises, and I think Paul wrote it for this as he sparked my thinking on this in some of our recent conversations, we really have some critical conversations that need to continue to happen if we're going to keep moving this forward. Are we really ready, and are we really willing to collaborate? Are we willing to break away from our silos, our territorialism, our ownership, our turf, all those different things, which are important because everybody does their own thing, but at the same time, if we stay in those spaces, we will have a really hard time moving this forward. The journey over the last 20, 25, 30 years, depending on who you talk to, if you get a hold of Peter Davis's ear, he'll tell you it's a little longer than that even. If we continue in a way that we're doing it in our silos, it will be a very, very slow grind. I tell my students all the time, I want it to be different by the time I'm dead. That would be really awesome. You know, let's move it forward, right? But I think we can move faster than that, and I think we can really, really do some great things. And we really need to think about who is the we, who's willing to be a part of that conversation and collaborate. Can we separate the immediate versus the important? We get very caught up sometimes in the, what do we need to put in the brochure, what do we need to put on the website right now, but what's the bigger picture that we're driving for? And we've heard a lot of great messaging throughout today about the importance of the athlete well-being, the importance of the safety of our athletes, the development of our athletes, and all of those things, and how do we really move that the way that we need to? And then again, who should lead? And is it one person, or can we do it in collaboration? And how do we start to think about that as different organizations? One of the things I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, because it's really important, is the USCCE, which was one of the co-sponsors of this event, is an organization that was originally part of AFERD and then Shape America, that looked at and handled and really worked on this area of accreditation of coaching education, and has really grown out into its own organization as a nonprofit to really drive the elevation and enhance the profession of sport coaching, coach education, and coach development across contexts. And one of the things we're striving to do is help bring together the voices, not be the voice, but bring them together and to collaborate so that we can improve systems, coach development systems and coach education, to improve and support the coaches. And then to, of course, the end result that we keep talking about, better athlete experiences and outcomes. So how do we start to do that? And if you're not familiar with USCCE, I wanted to at least give you a little bit of information. We certainly still do the accreditation work that's been going on for 20 plus years. And accredit programs and take a look at how they coach using the standards that have been just recently revised by SHAPE that have been around also for close on 15 years, that were developed out of this conversation of how do we do this better and how do we do this with evidence-based practice. So we continue to do that. And we also do things like the North American Coach Development Summit, which is going on to its 22nd year, I believe, next summer when we go to Birmingham, Alabama. And I really want to encourage those of you who've been listening in or that are inspired or feel that you are in this field of coaching education, coach development to join us for the summit. The registration will actually go live for it soon, and it is a place where we get together and people from the academic side, people from the industry within the NGBs and the other sport organizations, as well as folks from an international perspective, come together to talk about the work we do and how do we do it and how do we collaborate in what we're doing. And our goal is in 6 months, when the summit comes up, to do another live stream event like this. It'll not be probably a 3-hour, it'll be a shorter, and it will be an update on what's come out of this collaboration, what's come out of this conversation, and some of the leadership organizations that are represented. What are we doing, and how can we start to make that conversation clearer? I wanted to acknowledge, too, before we end today, a huge thank you to our speakers. They donated their time, for the most part, to come to Morgantown, West Virginia in the winter. That's significant if you haven't been here. It's cold, and it's snowy, and we're kind of on the edge of the mountains. And it's also, for any of the academics, finals time. And yet when we started talking about this and I brought this up, everybody's like, I'm in, and I've got something to bring for the collective conversation. And I'm really inspired by the folks that are here, who I'm really proud to call my colleagues and my friends, and people who have been an important part of this journey, and I'm really excited where we can continue to grow this. And I'm really excited for all the new voices that we're going to be bringing in as well, because this will only go forward and move past that 20-year mark that Paul mentioned if we can triple, quadruple, and just grow the voices. It's the only way that it works. We've got to be talking the same language. We've got to be talking with that same end goal in mind, even if we're all doing different things. It's just absolutely crucial. And then finally, I need to give a special shout out to Dr. Melanie Page from the Provost Office is actually here, and they have been incredibly supportive of the work that we've been trying to do in this area. My college, the College of Physical Activity and Sports Sciences, and then these folks over here. Step this way so you're in the light. Come here, come here, come here. These are some of the doctoral and master students from our program. Christina Villalon, Maggie Roberts. Kyle is not here, but has been helping out from behind the scenes quite a bit. Katie and Brian have all been incredibly helpful. They've been sitting in the back, they've been monitoring your live stream. They calmed me down every time I freaked out about what a live stream was and if it would actually work. Did a lot of that. They've been helping with the shuttle driving and all of this. So thank you guys very much for your patience over the last couple of months. And give a big round of applause for that. And then just if anybody is interested, we have some contact information from the U.S. Center for Coaching Excellence, and then our information here for West Virginia University. So thank you all, and like I said, all the materials will be posted as soon as we can get them cleaned up and ready for posting. Thank you everybody for attending.